Welcome to the Link edition this week. We are happy from the feedback we continue getting from you on the topics, social media and those we meet in person. We get encouragement from you. You remember specific things about topics we have brought here. And that keeps us going in terms of being encouraging us. We bring you information that you can use and opportunities around anything to do with your money, your business, investment, etc. Last week we spoke about insurance, how it can work for your business. And this week we continue to speak about insurance. The insurance week is just coming ahead, and makes sense why we need to talk about insurance, because it has to do with covering your risk in your business, your home, and so on, your life. But it involves money, and sometimes it's not understood. And tonight we're discussing, as you see there on your screen, loan insurance. Do you know what you are signing up for? Many times when you go to borrow, there is some fee you pay as insurance in case of things happening, and my guest is going to discuss that tonight. Do you know what you're signing up for? And we will talk about a little bit also later about insurance getting digital and why we need to be alert to that change. It's convenience, but what do we need to know? My guest tonight is Mr. Emmanuel Sanyu Safari from ESAF Insurance Promoters Limited. They do education and so on in the sector. Emmanuel, welcome.
Thank you, Samuel, and I'm happy to be here.
Very nice, and thank you for the job you're doing of teaching. I tell people here that we're in class. The link is class, and some people have pen and paper, so you are a teacher today.
All right.
Let's take the first question. What are the different instances in which insurance covers loans? And what does this insurance really do?
All right. Thank you, Samuel. Now, when you talk about insurance,
yes,
actually insurance is a facilitator to doing trade, to doing commerce, to doing anything. Yeah. If you're a business person, you would want to insure a business because you also have other people who sell for you. You want to secure yourself. That even when I'm out of the shop, my interests are protected. Should anything happen, I have somewhere to run to. Banks are also very wise institutions. They can't give out money without insurance elements. So when you talk about loans and banks that they provide, there are mostly two kinds of loans they offer. And the insurance loan, the loan insurance, the credit insurance factored in there is a little bit different. So for the unsecured loans, these are the loans, salary loans. Yes, salary loans. Those are usually loans below 50 million. And they usually, many times, they don't give you a certificate of insurance or an endorsement that shows that you're covered. But ideally, I've actually tried to, so what banks do, they usually offer what you call blanket covers. So a bank has its portfolio throughout the year. They know their numbers, they keep growing. So they tell you that for us, we want to have, they go with that, to an insurance company that they have chosen, and then they take out an insurance policy.
For all the loans?
For all the loans that will come out. So every schedule, whenever you see an insurance fee, they have been getting away without providing an insurance policy document or an endorsement.
So when I borrow the money, let me say 20 million. I know for sure they say there's this percentage of that money. Something 1-2% which goes to insurance. Let's take it from there.
So that premium, whenever you pay an insurance premium, and many times they deduct it from your loan. So you check on your statement that they have removed insurance fee.
They don't give you the actual amount you have borrowed because of fees and insurance.
Exactly. But then the insurance, the law requires, as per our regulator, IRA, demands that you should actually get an endorsement, an insurance certificate that shows at least the insurer who is covering you and for how much. At least within that 1 year, or if it's a long-term insurance, for how long. As of 2022, Bank of Uganda actually came up with a law to have what we call a mortgage protection. So, and this usually applies for the secured loans now. I talked about the unsecured because that one usually your employer.
Don't go to mortgage first.
Yes.
Let's hang on the salary loans. And
Yes.
many people take salary loans.
Yeah, salary loans are actually what you are being given is actually mortgage protection. And as of 2022, it became law that you are supposed to get a policy document. Actually, they actually charge you for that.
Yeah.
But the challenge is our players, the banks get actually these blanket covers, but a year goes by without actually providing this policy document.
So
yet the law
meet the
requires
customer.
2 weeks maximum for you to get actually a policy document or an endorsement.
So
that
me,
shows
the
that
customer,
yes.
Emmanuel, who has borrowed a salary loan, I am supposed to get that certificate, correct?
Yes.
From the bank or from the insurance company?
Of course, now because the bank is the main client, you are just a client.
Okay.
One of the interested parties. You as the client, if you don't demand, the bank officials actually may get away with it. They may. And you actually there don't have a policy.
I know what you're talking about.
You don't have actual insurance.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the danger of me not having a policy document?
So the danger we have seen of late in the media, a case in point is the estate of the late Cedric Babu, who passed on, took out actually an insurance policy, a mortgage protection, because it's in 2022, for him he took out the loan in 2023.
Yeah.
God forbid, he passed on 2 years down the road. I think 2 years just passed. The wife, because she follows actually my show, she actually noticed that there was a gap because the bank was still on her neck, following up on the loan payments, they were supposed to pay. But when she actually looked at our content, she realized actually we have mortgage protection policy. She actually sued the bank with the information that she had gotten.
Yeah, and we will not talk about it for some reasons.
Let's not, I don't want to talk about it, but again, the court ruled in favor of her and actually stopped the bank from acquiring attaching the asset.
Okay.
So imagine that kind of headache you would have gone through, losing your property just because you actually did not trace your policy document or you didn't have a copy. The good thing actually identified it, but the subsequent loan payments, I think the bank had agreed that they were going to arrange for it.
Okay.
Because bank assurance people also have bank assurance officers who actually want to take over that. But the client, if you have been having an insurer and a person who has been servicing you, you have the right to maintain with your person.
So the takeaway from just now is if I borrow money and there is anything to do with insurance cover, salary loan or mortgage, I need to get a certificate to show me what I am paying for. Demand
for it from your loan officer. The challenge is oftentimes we just want to sign and see the money on our account.
Absolutely.
You forget that you have actually paid, there's an insurance fee that has come off your account.
Yes.
And why you don't get your policy document is because you're actually ignorant or possibly you don't know, you are just greedy for the money.
Yes.
But you forget that the bank has protected its interests. It's supposed to give you a copy of that document.
Take me through briefly. You are the person in insurance here. Let me say I get a salary loan and I pay 1.5%, for example.
Yeah.
What does that document have? What does it contain there? What does it tell me? When I get it, how do I know that, okay, everything I want is there? What should it look like?
No, just like you get an offer letter from the bank. It shows you how much they're offering you, what interest you're supposed to pay, and for how long.
Okay.
So an insurance endorsement or certificate must show you only that, of course, the bank has many clients and they're supposed to protect their clients in the privacy.
No, they will give me.
But they should give you a copy. Maybe they can hide out all others. They schedule showing that at least you are covered from such a date and for this long and for how long.
Okay.
Because that document, always keep it, especially we business people who travel a lot. Make sure your family members get to know that there's some kind of insurance from the loan you took out. Because even with a salary or for the secured loans, you never know where death or disabilities will come.
Absolutely.
So this is why the bank does not take any chances. It wants to make sure that they are insured and also their clients are insured.
But I'm the one who pays the insurance.
Yeah, you pay that small portion because you're contributing. And of course, by the way, what I can say, with the bank, because they are negotiating in bulk, they get relatively fair rates.
Okay.
Very fair rates than what you would have gotten if you come as an individual
Okay.
to the insurer.
Let's take a short break. You've heard, if you take an insurance cover for a loan, do you know what you're paying up for? Do you know what you're signing up for? Actually, that's our topic here. And my guest tonight, Mr. Emmanuel Sanyu Safari from ESAF Insurance Promoters Limited, is educating us in class on what you need to know. And we've just discussed, you must get a document that shows that you are covered. It's your right. Let's come back after the break. Don't go away. Welcome back from the break, and we're continuing talking insurance. When you take insurance cover for a loan, do you know what you're signing up for? And my guest tonight is Mr. Emmanuel Sanyu Safari from ESAF Insurance Promoters Limited. They do a lot of things, including public education in this area. So, Emmanuel, I interrupted you to go for the break there. Can you tell us if I get insurance for a loan, what does it actually cover? It looks like a basic question, but I need to know, why am I paying insurance?
All right. So at this juncture, Samuel, by the way, the name is Promise ESAF Insurance Promoters, and the show is called Promise Insurance Show on the various.
But now you're on the link.
Now on the link, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but on your question of what do you actually cover?
Yeah.
So actually the broader question is actually the mortgage protection policy. It's a life insurance product, and as of 2022, Bank of Uganda demanded that it also has to come along your loan requests.
Yes.
Yeah? Before that time, and what they still do, actually now you have now two kind of insurance policy you're supposed to take. For the, especially the client taking out secured loans,
Yeah.
you must insure your property. The collateral you're giving to the bank,
Yes.
it has to be insured. So that's the first product. The second product that came into law in 2022 was the mortgage protection. Meaning, yes, having covered, you could be taking out a loan for a build or to renovate and things like that, worth say 1 billion shillings. You have to insure, of course, the building, but on top of that, we have to insure your life, the person taking out this insurance of that 1 billion, such that should anything happen, the bank shouldn't take my building.
Yeah.
Yeah, the insurance policy of mortgage protection will be there to compensate that remaining balances of that money. The bank should only be interested to see that this building is secured.
Secured, yes.
And should a fire gut it or floods like we have been seeing, it's covered. They shouldn't lose their money. But what happens? When the principal member passes on, is where the insurance will come in.
Okay.
Yeah, it has to pay the outstanding amount plus any interest.
Okay.
So basically, that is what it does.
And I was told for salary loans that if you lose your job, let me say you have 3 years, insurance pays for only 1 year. I was told that, but I'll not go there.
Okay.
So where does the trouble usually show up? I am insured. Everything seems to be okay. Where does the trouble show up?
So the biggest red flag for our viewers out there is if you don't have a policy document, an endorsement.
A reference.
A reference. As we have seen, actually there was a case in Rushenyi where a lady took on Pearl Bank, which is Post Bank then, and she won the case because she paid an insurance fee, but she didn't have a policy document. So actually the bank dragged her for about 9 years, actually. That case delayed. We have seen Sadiq Babu recently, the wife had to take, but at least she had a copy of the original policy document.
Yes.
Only the endorsement had not yet been paid, but that was a case that
So the
court
trouble
decided.
is when we don't have.
If you don't have a copy or an endorsement, if you don't get any policy document.
Okay.
And it should come actually within 2 weeks of you signing and paying that money.
Okay.
We have seen situations where that endorsement is actually done 6 months down the road. Actually, a year can go by.
Or it never shows up.
It never shows up.
Yeah, sometimes.
And actually, Yeah, and banks can actually have the option of doing self-insurance, for instance. But if they have charged you an insurance, many times they present you actually insurers that you have a choice the bank is working with. But then when the policy document comes out after 6 months, 7 months, you actually confused. So that's the biggest red flag, and that's where the trouble comes in, and that's what we need to address our audience to be more careful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's take a final question. Insurance is going digital. People are clapping their hands. We love digital. It's convenient and everything else. Is it a case for just convenience, or again, as we were discussing in the previous questions, we need to be allowed to send certain things, even as we go digital in the insurance sector?
Oh, thank you, Samuel. Now, for me, I think digital or innovation and technology is the way to go. It's a positive shift in the right direction. I mean, you can't hide behind the paperwork or the paper trail.
Yeah.
So what has been happening in the insurance industry is you could take out, when you are interested to take out a policy, so for your vehicle, we will take you through the paperwork. It would take about 2 days or 3 days for you to get the policy document. You know, we have to do that inspection. We do all those kind of things. That process would take minimum of 3 days for a good insurer. Others would actually take 1 week.
Okay.
Let's say for vehicle insurance, which is like the most common. Third party people would actually go down and they actually fleece. They'll be given fake stickers. Now, the industry came out last year. We did a pilot study and we said, okay, let us start with the digital motor third party.
Yeah.
They tested it, and this year it has made law, 2026, as of January, that now you don't have to come to my office or go to any outlet. Just by some insurers have their websites, others give you a chat bot on your WhatsApp. You just put in your number plate and it gives you a prompt for you to make a payment. Once you make a payment, within 5 minutes, you have your sticker. Motor third party is quicker. If it's for comprehensive, once I've done all the inspection and all that, it's a process that will take about 2 days or 3 days. We're still trying to harmonize the system.
But the physical inspection has to happen for comprehensive.
Of course, it has to happen, but it's also much faster. Those days it will take, as I say, the whole day. Right now, actually, I can inspect vehicles in as far as Kabale or Chisoro.
How do you do it?
Digitally, again.
What? You take the phone and...
I can't explain all that right now. Of course, I can just link you to the Promise Insurance Show. You'll see how it works. Yes.
I'll bring you back to explain that, but
no
please,
problem.
I interrupted. Go on.
Yeah. So, this, to me, I feel that we are supposed to be, where we are right now is where some countries were about 10 years ago. So we're just trying to play catch up. So I think it's, let's take it positively. For instance, now travel insurance, I can actually, you don't have to come to our offices. People would come up, people are having deadlines to go for their visa appointments. You just send me your WhatsApp of your passport biodata page, your destination, and for how long. I send you a quotation. Once you're agreeable to that, I ask you, have you loaded the money on your phone? Within 5 minutes, I send you a PRN for you to make the payment. You share with me the proof of payment. Bam, you have the policy document on your email and on your WhatsApp. You present your embassy letter to your visa office, and you're given whatever you needed. Because those countries have also seen the challenges. You can't take on foreigners to our country without kind of insurance. We have seen the challenges that have happened for when the flights were delayed because of this Iran war. That curtailment, that's a topic I can discuss another day. But there are so many risks that happen when you're traveling as a foreigner. Once you get admitted in that country, we have seen that there's a general who passed on, but he fell sick in the aeroplane and he couldn't get service. When he was taken to the hospital, they were like, we can't touch him. He has the money, but we can't actually touch him without the medical insurance. Because there are so many legal gymnastics around those kind of foreign related countries or issues that may happen. So that's how travel insurance helps you, but also very digitally. Same thing with medical insurance, e-cards, same thing with home insurance. There's a lot that I think is very positive.
Before we end, Emmanuel, foolproof on fraudsters. Digital comes with fraud also. Because you don't meet me, you just send me things and I pay, and then what? How are you foolproofing against fraud as a sector?
As a sector, thank you so much, Samuel. That's a very important question. Of course, insurance players work with intermediaries, agents, and brokers. They must give you their authentic portal because even the links that we provide to you and the PRNs, actually you may not interface with my portal until I send you all the information I require of you to give you the insurance policy.
Okay.
For instance, travel insurance, I only need a passport biodata page. Share me that, and then your TIN, your email address, and your phone. I put it in the system. You will not get. You can't make any payment until I send you a PRN from our system that shows you that you're paying a certain company this amount of money. That was in the quotation.
The PRN is generated automatically by the system.
Yes.
In connection with URA.
URA also has this tax element.
Yes.
Then the insurer has its own system
Yeah.
that has to integrate with its own other system.
Okay.
So there are lots of foolproof and they are highly regulated. So I urge our audience out there, work with regulated insurance companies.
Okay.
They must be regulated by the IRA, such that if you are given a fake document, you can actually take them on. Yes.
Okay.
And of course, we usually see issues whenever claims happen. Maybe that's a sad incident. Whenever there is not actually any claim, you may never know that it was a fake or a proper document.
But when you make a claim, then
when you make a claim and you find out that it was a fake document, please, the law is there. Our regulator is there. They have a complaints bureau that can handle those kind of issues.
Okay.
But we are trying to fight hard the fraud issue, and our public, of course, has also been fighting us. We're like, why are you going digital? Well, I told them, but we're suffering.
Digital is good, but there's fraud. I will bring you back, Emmanuel, to touch these issues, because I do not think we have even
just
sufficiently. We have scratched on the surface, but that's the time we have. Thank you so much, Emmanuel Sanyu Safari from Promise ESAF Insurance Promoters Limited, and for being educators. Viewers, you must be feeling, I wish they also talked about this, but we are still here. We are going to bring back these subjects and insurance. There's an insurance week. Please go at I'm forgetting Constitutional Square.
Constitutional Square.
Yes, I think next week.
Square.
Yes, next week. Go to Constitutional Square.
We're starting this week on 19th.
Okay, very good. 19th is starting. Go to Constitutional Square. Ask all your questions face to face. The people are willing to explain these things so that when you go into insurance, you get a good deal. That was the link. Thank you for joining us tonight.